Tales from the Loop, episode 2. So this episode, the second episode that I watched, in my opinion, was better than the first episode. Like, this show is so good at science fiction. It literally reminds me of the old Twilight Zone. It's really good. I was surprised. To me, at the quality of writing is really good. I thought maybe the first episode was a fluke, but the second episode, being better than the first one, in my opinion, proves that this anthology series is serious science fiction and it's not a fluke. And my initial thought and theory that I had, I actually think might still be valid. I'm not sure they're on planet Earth. I don't know if they're in a spaceship or if they're in a segmented area like an asteroid ship and they're in the inside. I just don't think are they in a moon? Are they in a spaceship? Are they in a pocket dimension? I don't think they're on the Earth, but it's just very strange. That was literally my first theory from watching the first episode. But the more I think about it, the more I think about that's true. I could be completely wrong. But what I like about this show is that you can have all these theories and guesses like Lost did, but it gives you these interesting payoffs. So I'm going to talk about this episode, and at the end, I'm going to give a spoiler alert because I'm going to talk about what happened and that I was surprised in a good way about what happened. So this episode reminds me of Turnabout Intruder, a really good Star Trek episode, which at the time was one of the lowest rated original series episodes. In hindsight, I think it was pretty good. And that's the one where Captain Kirk switches consciousness with actually that happens in several episodes, not just Turnabout Intruder, but in particular it happens in Turnabout Intruder where there's a machine that you can switch consciousness with another person, and these two boys are playing and they find this old machine, and again the show still hasn't explained to this point whether are these man-made machines, are these machines based on alien technology. I mean, was there a war and these are just remnants of that? What's the deal with that? Don't know. But I like that they haven't revealed the answers to that yet. So this has some of the actors from the first episode in it, different ones. It still seems to be like a core storytelling piece. There's a couple of more actors that come in. I like how it's dealing with the main story is two different actors than it was. Like I said, the mom is still in this episode, and it's mainly about her son, her oldest son, and his best friend, which I don't remember seeing his best friend in the first episode. Maybe he was there in the background. So it was just a great story. They're playing in this piece of technology, and they inadvertently accidentally switch consciousness, and then they immediately test it to see if they can go back, and then they switch again. So they switch for a day or two. It's interesting seeing them play in each other's lives and to see how each other lives, and that's very interesting. And then something tragic happens where one of the boys wants to go back and the other one does not. So he goes out there by himself to the machine and jumps in it, and they no one sees him for a couple days. So they go looking. His friend, he goes and looks for him. He finds out that he's in a coma. He's not waking up. And we as the viewer, we know it's because his consciousness, is gone. So it was kind of sad at that point. And for most of the rest of the episode, it's sad. And not that the ending is a great happy ending, but like I said, I'll get to that and I'll give a spoiler warning. So I like how the show is telling these anthology science fiction stories. I like it's doing it in the way the old Twilight Zone used to. The twist is always, it's not spooky, scary. It's more psychologically scary, the way the old Twilight Zones were. It's very enjoyable. So All right, I'm going to talk about what happened at the end of the episode. So if you don't want to know what happened at the end, you can just stop right now, and hopefully you like my content and that you'll watch and subscribe. But now I'm going to spoil it. So it ends up his consciousness is not lost, and he's not, yes, his body's in a comatose state. The boy tried to go back, and when he figured out what happened to his friend, to switch back, but there were workers out there dismantling that machine. So there's no way that he could go and switch back anymore. So that, again, that leads to the sadness of the episode. But we find out at the end, he hears something outside out of his window while he's trying to sleep. He's basically, it's his friend, and he's now trapped in his friend's body like the rest of his life, because the other friend is in a coma, and the machine's been dismantled. But at the very end, when he hears this noise outside his window at night, he goes out with a flashlight, and there was an old worker robot that was shut down that was nearby. It's like a two-legged, it almost looks like an AT-AT walker. But it was close by when this machine, when they were switching consciousness. So when he went out there by himself, or he thought he was by himself, his consciousness is now trapped in this old robot, this AT-AT walker looking thing. It's like a worker robot. And he's like spying on his friend from the, down the street corner as the robot. And I'm not sure if his friend realized that or not, or understood, but like once he sees that he's spotted, the robot runs off. So to me, that was the twist that was very fascinating. Like, you think, oh no, his body's comatose. He can't, it's tragic, which it is. But now knowing that he's trapped in a robot, it's kind of a fascinating twist that you didn't see coming till the very end. This show is legit science fiction. Whoever the writers are, and I'm gonna have to look that up. Kudos to them, because this is the second episode, and it's an anthology. I don't know if it's 8 or 10 episodes. I haven't looked yet, but it's really good science fiction. It's up there. It's written very well. The dialogue's really well. It's relatable. It's kind of down to earth. It has almost like a hint of like you're watching an old show from the 50s or 60s or 70s, because the town feels old, but then there's this technology in there that's thrown in. It's very fascinating. And so I guess all the questions that you ask yourself while you're watching it, like, what year is it? Where is it at? Where is it located? Is it in the U.S.? Is it in the country? I mean, they're speaking English. Again, I suspect it's not on Earth. It could be Earth in the future after some sort of dystopian war with technology. I suspect it's a spaceship or an insides of a spaceship somewhere, but I don't know. So, or again, like Dark City was my first thought, and the first episode was like Dark City, the movie, which I won't spoil that for you if you haven't seen it. So I like the show. I'm going to keep watching the show and keep doing reviews of the show. So thank you guys.